Michael Whatley, chairman of the Republican National Committee, live with us tonight here on the Hill. Michael, always great to see you. Nice to speak with you, sir.
Yeah, it's good to be on with you.
Scott Bessent, the comments made today in which he said, I would posit that over the near future there will be a de-escalation. He actually said this behind closed doors. He said we have an embargo now on both sides. And then President Trump was in the Oval today and basically said, you know what, the tariffs are going to be coming down with China. It seemed like a pretty different shift, a pretty different tone from President Trump today there in the Oval. Is de-escalation needed?
Look, the president has made it very clear over the course of his discussions on tariffs that we would like to get to a place where the tariffs are all going to come down, but America is going to be treated fairly. What we have seen since he put out his announcement a couple weeks ago is 75 plus different countries have come to the United States and said we want to renegotiate our tariffs and we want to make sure that America is going to get a fair deal. The president has been very clear. We are going to be treated fairly around the world when it comes to tariffs, when it comes to trade. China needs to be a trading partner with us. They understand that the president is very serious about this. So, okay, yeah, we would like to see de-escalation at some point, but it's going to happen on terms that are going to be good for America.
Okay, de-escalation at some point. What do you do with this, though, Michael? Because, you know, at the end of the day, it's the economy that often wins and loses elections. Obviously, candidates and candidate quality matters, but quote unquote, it's the economy, stupid, right? CNBC poll, president's handling of the economy, he's -12. Approval of his tariff policy, he's -16. Approval of inflation and the cost of living, he's -23. So I hear you and I hear the lines that come out of the White House, but the American public is saying something different, Michael.
The president campaigned on lowering gasoline, grocery, and housing prices, making sure that interest rates are going to come down, making sure that inflation is going to come down. He is taking steps on every one of those right now throughout his administration. We need to see the tax bill get extended by Congress. That will make sure that we're going to continue to have lower taxes going forward. Tariffs are obviously a big part.
How important is that tax bill as you sit there with your perch at the RNC?
I think it's very important. I think the fact is that we need to have a regulatory regime that's going to be good for American businesses. We need to have a tax program that's going to work for American businesses and American families. And tariffs are obviously going to be an important part of that conversation. When you put all of that together, we're going to be in a very strong place, and the economy is going to is going to go up. And then politically, we'll need to take advantage of that.
Let's move to politics here for a second. The state of New York, there hasn't been a Republican governor there since basically the start of the century or the end of the last one. And there's a rising star in your party, Elise Stefanik, the Republican congresswoman. And there's some whispers, some headlines, maybe she would run for governor in that state, in her home state. Do you believe that she is the best candidate, Michael, to potentially be on the Republican side to run for governor there in the state of New York?
Yeah, look, Kathy Hochul right now is absolutely a wounded governor. She is very, very weak. She is very unpopular across the state, and that state is ready for a change. Elise Stefanik is one of several people that are taking a serious look at this race right now. She would be an absolutely fantastic candidate.
Is she the best one?
You know, I think we'll wait and see who's going to get in that race. You know, our job right now is to make sure that we're defining Kathy Hochul by the standards that the New York citizens and voters care about, which is jobs, economy, prices, regulatory relief. She's getting an F on every single one of those. Elise Stefanik is absolutely a fantastic member of Congress. We've got her and a number of others that are going to take a look at it. I think she'd be a fantastic candidate.
Michael Whatley, I'll leave it there. Chairman of the RNC. Always nice to see you, sir, with us tonight here on the Hill. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you for watching. And make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.